evening, and welcome to the Self Checkout Show. I am your host, Pastor Will, along with my beautiful co host, Dr. Nancy, and Coach Crystal.
Hello.
We
Good
are back. We
evening.
are back together, like I told you we would be. Um, well, guys, ladies, should I say? I said last week, Dr. Nancy and I on this show, we said we was gonna celebrate everything. Okay?
Everything.
When I tell you this has been a year of celebration,
Woo. Listen, I woke up
this
this
has
morning
been a
tired.
year.
Beyond.
Do you hear what I'm saying to you,
Beyond.
sister Crystal?
This
That dog alarm went off this morning at 4:15.
Hey, you almost threw that clock.
I said, not today.
Now you won't get me.
I turned it off. I'm gonna tell the truth on this night.
Tell the truth.
And I said, I'm going back to sleep. And whenever I get up, I get up.
Hey.
So I got up about an hour later because my body used to get
Your body used to getting up, yeah.
But I was so tired. I'm like, man. And I made it to work on time today at 7. I'm usually at work 5:30.
Oh, wow.
I know. I just go in early, a little extra overtime here and there.
Oh, okay. We're getting overtime.
But
okay.
today wasn't that day.
No.
No.
All weekend. Literally.
The
all
entire weekend. Okay? And I wouldn't take a minute of it back.
Not at all.
Because we had big fun this weekend.
We need a repeat.
Listen, no, not this
No,
weekend.
ma'am.
No, I need a break.
See, so you don't know how to cook.
We may as well put it together. Mel's birthday is this weekend, so
and that's fine.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I know how to press the brakes.
Yeah, Crystal, you press the brakes quick.
You won't get me, honey.
All right. Somebody tell, if y'all watching, God bless you. Thank y'all for watching. If y'all got any way to reach out to Jayhawk, tell him I'm live on my show right now. He should probably tune in if he wants to talk to me.
Share, and then that way everybody knows. See?
Guys, come on, share the broadcast tonight.
Share
the broadcast. Even if I don't want to keep this stuff on my page, well, just share it until we off the air.
Right.
And then you can
delete it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So let's do that. But we definitely need more shares. Nita.
Hey, Nita.
How are you, lovely lady? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We want you all to share this broadcast, especially, we want you to do it every week, but especially tonight, the nature of what we're going to talk about is really, really very important that we get this show tonight in as many ears as possible. But before we get there, back to our weekend on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to start back with Friday because I got a chance to sit down with the original 4. We had a chance to sit down and chat about some things. And, of course, that is myself, John, Nancy, and Martise. And we got a chance to talk and eat and chat about a few things. And something that happened Friday night, it really, if I can just say it really blessed me. I got a chance to really sit down and talk to my brother about ministry. And that made me feel so good that we were able to connect in that way. I mean, we are who we are, but a lot of times we just brothers, you know what I'm saying? And we just kick it like that. But when we can share, in depth about ministry, that really, really means a lot to me. And I know it means a lot to him. So I was happy about that.
That's important to do that. Iron sharpens iron, and we fortify one another.
Absolutely.
We bounce ideas and we learn, right?
Yeah, sure.
And off of each other. So that's important.
Yep. So
wasn't important enough to invite me. I just don't get it.
Oh, what? Now wait. Wait a minute.
Did she just do that for real?
I'm reaching out to John.
Wait, that's the one.
That's John.
Yep, that is the one. So we did that, and then Saturday, Dr. Linda had a day party for her birthday.
What a soiree.
On the magnificent mile.
On the 33rd floor.
On the 33rd floor. And everything was great.
Beautiful.
Everything was wonderful. But I want to talk about this DJ.
Now, I forgot to post my food plate. So whoever did the food.
Oh, yeah, she had the food catered. I don't know who catered it, but it was good.
Delish.
I'm having some of it tonight, actually. But
I sure hate that I didn't get no to-goes.
That doggone DJ.
The DJ was everything.
Made me want to dance, and I don't even dance.
Listen, house music and staffing music.
I was enjoying all of it.
It was everything. We had a ball.
And we went from that place and ended up at another place, the rooftop.
Yeah.
Ari Hotel rooftop.
Yeah.
The views, though.
Yeah.
The views from that rooftop.
Both places, breathtaking.
Yeah, and that was a first for me, y'all, going from one, I want to call it a rooftop, as far up as we were, from one to another.
But it
That's
was.
What I'm saying, yeah.
We stepped out, yeah, definitely.
Nita said her knees were on fire.
I bet, yeah.
Because y'all was out there bucking.
Oh, that was a day party show. Do you hear me?
It was indeed. It was
enough a day party.
Look, Dr. Kerr said all we was missing was some cocktails.
Listen.
But we had a great time there. And then yesterday, I got a chance to, the original four again, got a chance to hang out with my mommy.
For her birthday. Listen, 73, fine and fabulous. Okay?
That's my mama. That is my mama.
That's what I'm striving for. That's why I got to stay in the gym. That's why I got to walk, because I need to be 73 and still moving too.
You know, I wish I could just maybe drop my body off at the gym and go pick it up when it's time, because I ain't got time.
Did you hear that, Crystal?
And I completely understand.
His body off at the gym. And
when you get that program, you let me know.
Yes, happy birthday again to my beautiful mom, who is not feeling her best tonight. We certainly hope that she gets better. Charlotte says she's still tired from Saturday. And then turned around Sunday and had an old time at the temple. And even though it's public, I will not say what we're celebrating right now, because the man himself hasn't made an official post.
And that's so good. I appreciate you for that.
Absolutely.
Many people just jump out there and do that. And
I hate it.
Disrespectful and rude.
I hate it. I think the person that whatever is happening to or for should be the one to make the first public statement.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I went looking today so I could make some noise, but I didn't see nothing, so I shut up.
When I tell you I'm waiting for it,
yeah,
because I want to share it a million times.
Yeah.
And so look, we yet have another reason to celebrate. We always got stuff to celebrate.
Listen, it's the year celebrations. Our apostles said that at the very beginning of the year.
They did,
and I took that. Ain't that what we say all the time? I'll take that.
Yep.
I took that thing.
Yep.
She took it and got on the highway with it.
Going and going.
She didn't run.
Oh yeah, because we just did 50.8.
50.8.
Let them know, right?
For Dr. Nancy.
We ain't done yet.
Yes. No, we got 4 more to go. And then it starts all over again in January.
I hope not. I can't do it another year now.
So listen. Those of you that are watching, thank you, YouTubers. Thank you for viewing tonight. Those who are watching on Twitter, thank you. If you don't mind, give us a retweet right about now. That would help. Those of you that are on Facebook, if you could share right now. I don't want to keep this on my page. Just share it as long as we're live. When we go off the air, you can delete it from your page. But we need everybody, whatever platform you're watching on, we need you to share this broadcast tonight.
Yes.
All right. So You know, church folks, the church people, all of you. All right. So let's say this. Most, I believe, all, maybe, pastors and their wives or husbands, however it may be, has what we call armor bearers and or security. Lady Kamisha Huggins,
Hello.
glad to see you.
Hello.
I knew you'd be in here tonight for this.
Hey, girly.
I knew she was coming. She said it's her kind of can on the subject we're going to talk about tonight.
Listen, hold on. You all send some hearts up. We got to bust through these algorithms.
Let me look at Facebook and see what's happening on here.
Again, share.
Turn myself down.
Share to your page and send up some hearts, please.
There you go. I see y'all. Come on, send them up, y'all. Come on, help us out. Help us out. We need all of it. We need all of it. Send some stars too if you want to. Send everything. Send help. Send everything. Send a helicopter. Send some stars, some hearts, thumbs up. We need it all, guys. Help us out. Help us. So these pastors and their spouses should have security and or armor bearers who are to be watchful at all times. That's their job. All right. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to talk about this for a hot second. And I'm going to say this, that let me tell you right now, over at SDMI Church, if you even think of running up on Kurt and Linda, you're going to end up in the hospital. Okay? And depending on where the bullet hit you, you might be gone because we got some carriers around there.
Mercy.
Huh? And it's legal. It's all right. They can still carry their license.
Right. That's right. That's
okay. Right. Reason I said that is because I'm sure we all know by now Bishop Noel Jones's wife. Lady ran up on her and knocked her clean out in the church house while they was raising offering, according to what Marty said. No, don't tell them
that's what you said.
I said they probably would, but no. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We all over the place. That's why you got to keep your eyes on. Look, I don't know the full ins and outs, but trust me, between the three of us, we will get it all the information back to you on next week because we like to be accurate in what we say. But what I am saying is that, in my opinion and mine alone, there is no way that those of us who are protectors should allow anybody to get that close where they can knock your leader out.
That's right.
Okay. Now, we don't know what was happening at the time when it happened. We don't know if it was a prayer line. We don't know for sure if she could have been face to face with the woman like she was ready for prayer. We don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, the devil used her that day. Yesterday, the devil used the woman. Oh, Lord. And she knocked that lady clean out. And it's a sad case. I'm being light with it, but it's a sad case. And so is this thunder and lightning that's going on right here. Okay, it's happening around here. All right, in the good old western suburbs. Yes, Lady Kamisha, lady ran up on Bishop Noel Jones's wife and hit her. And from what is being said, she was knocked out. Hey, Tam, my Tam is on.
Hey, Tam.
Hey.
So this is why I stress to my people at my church, where I serve as an associate pastor. There's some reign that I have. And one of the things that I stress repeatedly is for the men. Listen, if it's prophetic ministry going on, you should be last. The men should be last unless we are specifically called out.
That's right.
That's right. Because somebody's got to be watching from every direction.
That's right.
Both sides in the back, you've got to be watching.
That's right.
And when you look, leave it to me and John. Me and John, when we go in, we going all the way in. The rest of y'all don't need to go all the way. No. lift your hands and keep your eyes open. Watch and pray. And do everything else you got to do, but keep your eyes open because people crazy.
Very.
And I mean that people have mental issues, mental illnesses, and you don't know what the devil is putting in their mind, and they could run up. You know what I'm saying? And if you run up, you're gonna get done up. Oh, I'm from the West Side, y'all. Don't forget.
West Side.
Don't forget. We love you too, Tam. We love you so much. I think that it should not have happened, and it should not happen ever. I saw a video a couple of months ago where dude walked up and just went to beating on the man sitting on the front row. What is happening here?
Yeah.
And while church was going on. Like, bro, what y'all doing? We have to be watchful, guys. And if we love our leaders the way we say we do, we ought to protect them.
Yes.
We ought to protect them.
Yes.
Because they can't do everything. And some of them, so what? They not leaders of mega churches. It don't matter. I don't care if it's only 20 members. You should still love them enough to protect them.
To watch and protect.
Huh?
That's right.
All right. I just want to throw that out there, but we're going to get all the information and we're going to get it back to you guys because we want you to know everything about what happened with that. Charlotte said, ain't no way. I'm trying to tell you right now. Ain't no way. Now, Tam, I did see that. I saw a video of the woman who was in handcuffs. They were taking her away. It's a very short video. And she did say that the woman, the First Lady Loretta is her name, had gave her daughter cancer and something about stalking.
Yeah.
And so in the comments of that video, people were like, what? Yo, you can't get nobody cancer. And then other people were saying, well, if she was stalking the people, then the stress could trigger certain cells in your body. So I don't know about all that. But again, I promise you, we are going to get the correct information and bring it back to you on next week. The world has gone mad, Nita said. That's true. You know, folks just, hey, man. It is what it is. We got to pray and we got to be watchful, guys. We have to be watchful.
Definitely.
We have to. Again, I'm going to say this right before we go into our topic for tonight. If you have not shared this video, this would be the perfect time to share it. If you don't want it to stay on your page, we understand. That's perfectly fine. But please share it while we're live. When we go off the air, if you don't want it on your page, you can delete it. But please share it right now. I need as many of you that are on whatever platform to do that for us right now. And let's get some more hearts and thumbs ups on this screen here, Facebook. I need to see it. Come on. Help us out. We need it. Help us out. All right, guys. Let me read this to you first. Topic of our show tonight is inappropriate behavior in the Black family. And I will tell you in a few minutes why it specifically says the Black family. All right. I want to read this to you, what we're talking about tonight. The statement, the phrase, what happens in this house stays in this house. Okay. I'm sure we've all heard that. All right. But this is a young lady that I'm reading. Her name is Shaniqua Bigelow. She's talking about this statement, and she says, this is a rule in many African-American households. This is a rule I have heard repeatedly over and over by my African-American friends through the years. As a mother, I understand that children talk a lot and they'll share things with people that they don't understand themselves. And many times those are things that did not need to be shared. But this rule is problematic. Holding on to this rule is the reason many people in the African-American community suffer in silence. They are dealing with mental health issues, marriage problems, neglect, incest, molestation, sexual assault, and abuse in isolation because they abide by the rule of what happens in this house stays in this house. She goes on to say, some of us don't know why we are so private, not realizing it is because we are still under our mother's rule, even though we have our own families now. One more piece, she says, I've heard of many African American clients quote this rule regarding their abuse, and I have had many clients who mention just not feeling comfortable or being too embarrassed to tell family and friends that their partner is abusive. As a culture, we have to stop being concerned with appearances and stop trying to control other people's perception of us. Ladies, I will send this article to you because it is really, really deep. Now, I said all of that. Now, I want you to put your ears on and listen and watch this video that I'm about to share with you right now. Pay attention, folks. I want you to hear this and watch this right here.
Here, that's a serious problem to me. And it's a problem in the Black community because I'm voicing to you that your husband was inappropriate with me. And why do you not believe that?
You're lying. Quit lying.
I'm lying. Why am I gonna lie to you about that?
You stay lying. Coming from my
Y'all,
child that
this has happened for years, y'all. I come in this.
Men in her bed.
Y'all see this?
Coming from my child is always.
You really taking up and know him for a long time. And it don't even matter. I get out of class, when I get out of everything, I feel so uncomfortable in this house. And she want to sit up here and take up for this man. Like, you're disgusting. Both of y'all are.
I have to get pregnant, take care of them.
Y'all know how hard this is for me to even believe this because this man, I have to come in my home with my mama that's supposed to love me, and you want to sit here for him. Why would I lie, y'all? Why would I lie? Why? Like, I'm shaking right now, y'all, because this makes no sense. You are sad. You are sad and disgusting human being. I swear to God, I don't even look at you as no mother. I don't have a mother that does not even believe their own.
Wow. Oh boy. That's wow. Coach Crystal, I'm gonna throw this to you. Give me what you got so far.
It was a lot going on there. First of all, what it sounded like to me is that this has happened before with other men. That's what it sounded like to me. And that each time the mother doesn't believe it, or probably in her mind, she believes that the daughter is doing something to get it. And I think that not only is it problematic that the mother doesn't even want to take some kind of, detective work to see, let me watch this man. Let me see how he is with my child. Because a lot of times people always say, well, my man come before my child. But your child is your flesh and blood. And if somebody's doing something to your child, you need to inquire about that. You need to do some investigative work to determine what is going on. And I think I read one of the comments said, if you don't like them, just move. But see, that's not going to end the problem. The man has an issue.
Yeah.
She needs to look into that. I don't know why. It bothers me for her not to believe her or to even take into consideration that what she's saying is the truth.
Yeah. Dr. Nancy.
Well, I will say that this just reminds me, especially now that I've just completed a million little things.
Yes.
But and even in watching that, sometimes when moms don't listen or hear their daughters talking that way, it's because they themselves have been through trauma similar to that. So because they didn't own theirs and because there was no assistance for theirs, sometimes they deny their child or they're not ready to hear it and or deal with it. I definitely think that a conversation should have had been had between the mom and the daughter. And at that point, the mother should have then approached the man to find out what is going on. Why is my daughter saying this? We're going to get to the bottom of it. Even if it means we need to get the authorities involved because something has transpired.
Yeah.
Something has happened. And so
Something.
we're going to find out who's lying. We're going to figure it out. And the whole, what goes on in this house stays in this house. It has crippled some of us because, and I think that the problem with that is, or it started because we don't know what to tell and what not to tell. We talk, you either tell all your business or you don't tell none of your business. And even to the point where we're posting everything on Facebook. And so we've got to really deal with even that phrase. And when we're saying it to our children, what we're talking about. What is okay to discuss with people, and then and just knowing that there are people that you can talk to about what goes on in the house.
For me, I certainly agree with everything that both of you have said, and we'll jump in the comments in 1 second. For me, I was disturbed by how adamant the mother was about saying, "You're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar." And the young lady said, in so many words, "You ain't even been knowing this man that long."
That's right.
And I'm telling you that he's being inappropriate with me. We don't know what that is, but we can imagine. We don't know if there's any physical touch or if it was verbal. Either way, even if it is verbal, it's inappropriate.
It's inappropriate.
Yeah.
This is your wife's child, because apparently this is a stepfather.
Yeah.
If you listen good at what the young lady is saying, this is not her biological father. This is the woman's husband. Okay. And I just feel that the first time my child says, "Hey, this happened." Okay, right now we having a conversation right now. Not tomorrow. I don't even want to watch you. Let's talk right now, and then I'll watch you. Because if you're gonna deny it, okay, I hear you. But I'm gonna believe my child until I know better than to believe my child.
Right.
Something as serious as this, you parents believe what your children say to you when it's something this serious. That lady she had ticked me off. I mean, going back and forth, calling the girl a lie, you wrong. Oh my God. Tammy said it was hard to watch, and it was. Hey, Tam, I love you. Thank you for being with us tonight. Nita said, "Seen this too many times. A mother will take up for her man before her own child." See, now that right there, that's when you need your face slapped. Because what's wrong? What is wrong? Dr. Nancy, help me here. What is happening that a mother would believe the word of a man over her own daughter? Why is this happening? What's going on?
A lot is happening. Again, you all know by now my favorite word are layers. There are layers to it all. And again, anytime a mother would believe that her child is lying about any accusation like that, again, that lets us know that there's been some trauma there with that mother. And honestly, that's why a village is so important, because if the mother isn't hearing the child, then the child should have someone else she can go and now talk to, so that there is some type of attention given to the situation. We don't know what this mother's background is. What if this mother had been through the same situation? Just as Tam said, and as I said before, this mother is blacking it out, or she's not accepting it. She's not hearing it because she herself has been through some type of trauma as it relates to someone in her family. Father,
so let me interrupt you right there.
Go ahead.
Let me interrupt you. Let's play hypotheticals for a second.
All right.
Let's say hypothetically that this did happen to her. to the mother.
Mm-hmm.
So my question would be then, if this happened to you, and now your daughter is saying it's happening to me, it would seem like, this is to me, that something in your head will remember, this happened to me too. Let me protect my child.
But it's not going to happen that way because no protection happened for her, and her situation was never dealt with. I want to now take your attention to Tyler Perry's movie. Which one was it where the mom had been? It was the marriage one.
No.
Yeah.
It
was getting married to the man that was beating her.
But she got two like that.
What's that movie? Why Did I Get Married?
Why Did I Get Married with Janet Jackson? And
is it
Diary? It's not Diary of a Mad Black. Which one is it?
Medea's Family Reunion.
That's the one. That's the one where the sister was telling the mom, you know, the one sister was getting beat by the man, and then and then she told her sister what was going on. So the sister and the mother got into it, and she was trying to tell the mom, you know, this happened to me, or she was telling her sister, you know, mom bathed me, and she told me it was only going to be for a few minutes, and she made me pretty, and then, you know, so again, trauma is repeating itself, and because no one, and she said, well, it happened to me and I did what I needed to do for the family, and you were going to do the same thing. Who was going to take care of us? So again, we have to understand, and if we don't deal with it down through the root, it's going to repeat itself because no one has dealt with the trauma.
Wow, I'm looking at a lot of comments that's saying, you know, that it happens more than we know. Tashana, hey T, she said the sad part is that this happened more often than we know. My mom said, trust me, this really happens in some households. Lady Kamisha said, especially with older generations, because women often depended on the man to provide. Right. Now, see, that I believe, and I believe that they felt that if I go against this man,
we'll be out here homeless. We won't have nothing. And that's what she said in Diary of a Mad Black Woman. She asked her two girls, who was going to take care of us? I did what I had to do to make sure that you all had a good life. That's what she said. Yeah. That's what she said. So she said, he wanted you. So I got you ready for him.
And that wasn't her father. That wasn't her father in that instance.
It was not her father. It was a stepfather. It was her sister's father.
Yep.
Yeah. So now, and she said, Mama knew he was doing this to me, and she let him do it. So again, because like you just said, they thought that, you know, this was the only way they could be taken care of. The man was providing everything. Then again, the trauma continued. Is it right? No. Should it be happening? No. But this is exactly why it's repeating, and why some moms are turning the cheek to it is because it happened to them as well. They accepted it. They moved on, or think that they've moved on. And so the fact that it's going on with it, they don't want to hear that. Don't believe that.
Two things to my viewers, especially those that are on Facebook. Number one, share if you have it. You can delete it after we go off the air. Number two, tag a friend in the comments. Tag somebody in the comments. Something else that Lady Kamisha said that I also thought to myself, they have a horrible relationship, the mother and daughter. There's a lot of trauma and unresolved issues within that family. And you could tell just based on that 90-second video, the relationship seems so fragmented.
Well, there's probably also
between the mother and the daughter.
I wouldn't say that either.
Some jealousy there.
I don't know about all that. I think that they may have had a good relationship, but the fact that her mother doesn't believe this now has happened, that is what has caused her to say, I can't believe. And then, you know, okay. I don't know.
I don't feel like they had a good relationship prior. I feel like she has reached out to her before.
Oh yeah, she's definitely told time
with something of the same stature.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
So going from that, whatever that first time was, or whatever the situation was, they never healed from that.
Yeah,
that's why she's so adamant.
Dr. Nancy said something that made me think about something that the mother did say. Because when we first started talking about Dr. Nancy, I think it was you who said, well, maybe the girl could have been acting a certain way to, You know, you didn't say that. I'm
I think
paraphrasing.
Crystal said it.
One of you said, and I thought about something. The mother said, you know, she alluded to when she would come home sometime and catch the girl in the bed with a boy. You know,
So
like,
you're right. I'll give you that. You're right.
Yeah. So I'm like, I still think you should believe your child, but at the same time, if Coach Crystal, if this mother is right, would she then have a half a leg to stand on because she's saying her daughter is just promiscuous?
Well, if it's a situation where the mother is right and she's promiscuous, then at that point you have to leave my house. That's an issue for you on your end, but you're not.
But it's still not right though, because if
it's absolutely not right.
The man should not be reciprocating.
But what I'm saying is the man is not doing anything, and the girl is just saying this is what he's doing to either get the mother's attention or to break down the relationship. You know, because girls do that as well. I don't know the situation. I also know that with mothers, even like Dr. Nancy said, she may have gone through something, and now to the other side of it, she might think, well, I went through it, you can go through it too. This is what it's supposed to be. You be all right.
That's why I'm ladies, maybe you can help me, because that's where I'm having the issue. Because if I'll repeat myself from a few minutes ago, if it did happen to the mother and the mother wasn't protected, and whatever happened to the mother, maybe her mom turned a blind eye to it and just let it happen. This is where I'm coming from. If that happened, if I'm the mother, I don't want this to happen to my child, and I'm not going to turn the blind eye to it like my mother did. You see what I'm saying?
But that's your perception. That's not.
That's a healthy mindset.
That's not every woman's perception when they come out of that. I mean, it really depends on how traumatic the situation was. Was there anybody there that you could even vent to? Were you closed off? Have you been holding on to this for your whole? It's multiple facets of what could have happened that pushed her from that. And 9 times out of 10, they on that side where this woman is.
And if it was repeated over and over again, that's another reason why she's not saying, let me protect my child. You know, again, because maybe it's something she conditioned herself to accept and to believe. It's like abuse. You know,
Shauna said some women will accept anything from a man the sake of having a man. They are repeating what they went through, and they don't know nothing else. Sad case. Kamisha said, the mother repeated over and over things about her daughter that happened prior. So their relationship is definitely in shambles. Nita said this goes back to the topic. Was mom pimping her out to men, and now she doesn't believe her?
And that happened.
That is so the movie.
And that is
the movie.
That's precious.
Charlotte says because you would think she would protect her child, and now I'm kind of bending a little bit towards Dr. Nancy's views, because while we're talking, I'm thinking about all of the Ayanla Fix My Life that I have watched, and one word that she said a whole lot during her seasons of that show: pathology. Pathology. And this is what's happening in a lot of houses. And it proves what you're saying to be true, Dr. Nancy. It happened to me. So it's a generational thing. It's
and because I wasn't protected, I don't know how to protect. You know, for people, for sake of conversation, for people like Crystal and I, who didn't come from abusive homes, we couldn't phantom a man being abusive to us, because our first response is, I'm finna fight. It ain't happening.
This we know.
But there have been times where I've caught myself saying, now, I don't know how these women accept that. But the thing is, they accept it because it's all that they know.
It's all they know.
So sometimes we've got to, and that's why I like to kind of try to look at the big picture and not from a tunnel vision, because it's not what Nancy knows, but there are women out there that were raised in this. They watched their mom be beat. They watched their mom be pimped out. So it's all they know. And if their mother made it and their mom is still here and they were raised, then surely a man loves me when he's beating on me. And surely a man's gonna provide for me if I'm going out there getting, doing this and making him happy, satisfying him. So that's all that they know. And then let's just say they get a friend that says that's wrong. And now I go to my mom and say, well, I don't want to do this no more because this is wrong. Now mama don't know how to handle that because it's not registering. What you mean you don't want to do it no more? This is
they don't know what they're talking about. Did nobody love her?
Yeah,
I love you.
Yeah. So it's like you said, it's pathology, and it's for sake of conversation, it's a level of ignorance. Because
a level of ignorance.
They just don't know any better. And again, because they've been quiet, because they did not talk to anyone, because again, there was, if you will, again, back to the movie, there was a look. Remember, what's the lady's name that was the mother? She was trying to maintain, what was her name?
Leon Whitfield.
Leon Whitfield, thank you. She was trying to maintain, her image. Yeah. She wanted to maintain that. And that's what she wanted. She said, who's going to take care of us? And listen, you're going to do it because now it's your turn.
And she was definitely pimping her out because she was getting money from Blair.
Yeah.
He was giving this man, this girl.
And that's what he said to her too. He said it. He said, I know how much money. And she said, well, what if I tell on you? You know what I'm saying? So it's mind games. It's levels to it.
Yeah.
You got to understand that we've got to be in place again, like we say all the time, even on this show, to be able to hear people when they are going through that without judgment, without, putting up walls and change, but we've got to hear them and be able to assist them.
Yeah.
We got to hear them.
Lady Kamisha said, but that's an indication that the daughter had likely experienced this before. Her trauma response was to become promiscuous. Interesting. Charlotte said in that movie, that's what the sister did. She had a guard up because what happened to her. You would think that's a natural reaction. Y'all know y'all gonna make me go back and watch this movie. I think I'm gonna look for it tonight. Kamisha says there's also a sense of embarrassment and shame that keeps people. Oh my goodness, that is the truth.
Now pause for 1 second. I want to go back to what Charlotte said, because Charlotte said in that movie, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying too, like why didn't she protect? She said in that movie, that's what happened. The sister did. She had her guard up because what happened to her, you would think that that's a natural reaction. So the sister had her guard up because she had the wherewithal to say, wait a minute. But you have to remember, the man couldn't even love her.
He couldn't.
He had to deal with her and break her walls down, and even for her to even be able to accept love and to be able to trust.
Because she had no way of identifying it. Because she didn't know what it was. She had been through
that trauma. She couldn't even love. She didn't know how. She didn't trust him. She couldn't love him. And she wanted to. So until she opened up her mouth and until she was able to talk about it and hold her mother accountable for it, she didn't even know how to respond. So you got to remember, again, it's layers and we go through things. Sometimes, what do we talk about? Fight or flight. And really, that's what it comes down to.
Kamisha says, that was important that she said that there's also a sense of embarrassment and shame that keeps people quiet. And coupled with that, Lady Kamisha, is the fact that many of us were raised hearing what happens in this house stays in this house. And we abided by that, and we carried it into our adulthood, and some live like that now. And I agree with the young lady whose article I read from when we first started this. She was saying that it's so embedded in us that now we're adults. We think we're free, but we're still under our parents' thumb because how heavy they put that in us. So it makes people still in their adulthood not want to share anything because what goes on in this house is supposed to stay in this house.
And we're scared to share. Let's just be honest. We don't know who we can trust. Again, just coupled with what you're saying and what Lady Kamisha is saying. And that's why we have to be careful, even when because you never know who's sitting amongst you. You never know who's discussing with you. So we've got to be careful sometimes, even in our responses, even as men and women of God, because the person that's hurt may be sitting amongst you, wanting to open up, wanting to share, but because we're saying, oh no, that would never, ever happen to me.
Yeah.
And I ain't never. We got to be mindful of that kind of stuff because they're not going to share. Why? Because they're scared we're going to judge them or we're going to bring shame and embarrassment to them. And so they're not going to. Who would open up to that?
Nobody.
Tam says, and I want clarity on this comment, Tam. Here's another thing. They don't accept it, and we go to the other extreme. I want you to clarify that statement because I'm not exactly sure what that means. Nita says that's why
like
people are still. That's why people. Okay. That's why people still holding on to those hurts for 30 and 40 years, 40 plus years. I mentioned this maybe a year or so ago. I forgot what I was talking about on the show. But Kenya Moore from the Housewives of Atlanta, maybe 3-4 seasons ago, maybe even longer, but there was a season where she went home to her mother to see her mother. They were estranged or whatever, and the lady slammed the door in her face. Her mother slammed the door in her face, and Kenya was in her 40s then, I guess.
Devastated.
And she cried like the little girl that was raised in the house with her mom. And I used to, let me just be honest here. I used to be like, oh man, it's been 40 years. Get over it.
No.
But since then, my whole perception has changed. My entire perception about things like that has changed because that little girl still longed for her mother.
She's still in
it
this place.
Still hurts 40 years later. So Nita, to your point, I see what you're saying. People do still hurt. They carry things in them for decades.
And they remain in that place. You can't mature from that. That's why we're watching Housewives, and the first thing we're thinking is, Kenya's so silly. She's so immature. Then when she goes into a backstory, then you say, right. You still that little girl. You just waiting for your mother to confirm you. You still waiting on that.
Yeah. So it's definitely rejection, Charlotte. Yes, for sure. It is rejection. And rejection, I would imagine that rejection from your parents
is the worst.
Has got to be the worst thing ever. And it's important. There it is. It's important. And I said that when I was watching that season, and I actually said it a few seconds ago, that little girl, Kenya, still is messed up from whatever happened. And that child never got the healing that she needed.
And what's so funny, now that you're saying that, all of them had that. Nene had an issue with her father. She didn't know who he was, had never met him.
True.
Candy has issues with her mother because she likes to clown. Then you got Kenya with her mama. Kim had issues with her mother and father. All of them bonded probably based on that unknowingly.
Good point. I see that. That's a great
and
point.
That's why, again, and Lady Kamisha mentioned it, that's why really mental health or having therapy or having a village or having someone you can trust and talk to is so important, because sometimes 30, 40 years later, or even let's just
Mm-hmm.
say it's not even to the extreme of this, but it's something else. You've got to be able to talk about it and deal with it so that you don't take it into your future. You don't bring it into your now and then take it into your future. It happens more times than none. And you know, even when I talk to married people and I talk to or youth, I share with them, and we all have to be honest and admit it. Parenting doesn't come with a manual. I don't care how many books have been written about it. Parenting does not come with a manual, and every child is different. So we have got to get to the core of even our own issues sometimes so that we're able to then raise healthy young men and women so that they don't repeat some of the things we've done. We got to deal with some of our own trauma. We got to be honest and deal with some of our own trauma.
Coach Crystal, should we, and when I say we, I mean should African American, or whatever you want to call it, what are we calling us? What are we now? We
Black.
African Americans
I'm black.
here? We
Black.
black. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Should black folks keep this? What happens in this house stays in this house. Should we keep that?
I think that there are things that are personal to your home, but what probably has happened in the past is that there wasn't an explanation. You know, we're also a family of what I say go, don't ask me no questions. We're that family as well. But if you're going to tell your child what happens in this house stays in this house in regards to this specifically, because there are things that happen in the house that you can talk about. You can laugh and talk about, you can share that information with your neighbors, but you also should be telling your children if someone is hurting you, if you feel that you're in a situation that you are that you're not supposed to be in.
That's right. That's right.
You can come to me. If you don't feel comfortable coming to me, then you have your aunt, you have your uncle, or you have whoever you can speak with.
That's right.
But you're supposed to have some kind of outlet for your child.
That's right.
Yes.
So again, that's why I love it when we do these type of shows because it ties to so many of the others we've done. That's why a village is so important.
Very.
I mean, I can't, you all see Crystal and I sharing each other so much all the time on social media. And that's because I can't honestly imagine my life without her being a part of my life. And that being a part of even my children's lives. You know, that's one thing that we did a long ago when our children were younger. Tammy's on here. That's my little sis. Y'all know that. I've told my children, Tashana's on here. I've told my children, if at any point you cannot come and talk to me, these are the people that I trust, that are in place and in position for you to tell anything to. And we have got to start, giving our children people, tools, resources that they can go and feel comfortable talking to and sharing with at any given point. I am an open book for my children. I tell parents the same thing. When you're church or not, y'all, church or not, saved or unsaved, I don't care what it is. Drugs, alcohol, sex,
talk to your kids.
Greek, life in general. You come and you talk to me. And if you can't talk to me, you talk to one of your aunts or your uncles that we have equipped you with. They have a village that I trust will lead them and guide them with the right information at any given time. And guess what? I've told those people, they don't even have to come tell me. They don't even have to tell me. I want them to make sure that my children are okay. And those are the people that I trust. And that's important.
It helps
Charlotte, if you will put Nita's, not this one, not that one, the last comment she made on the screen, that one right there. This is why I am partially against that statement. What goes on in the house stays in the house. I do agree, obviously, financial stuff, I mean, we know what needs to stay in house.
Right.
But this is the problem that a lot of families have, because now, for example, there's abuse happening in the house. And children are afraid to say something because of what they've been taught. Let me tell you how I know. There is somebody that I talk to periodically, and they would share some traumatic things that happened to them as a child. They are well into adulthood now and still can remember the pain,
Yeah.
the trauma that they felt as a little kid,
Yeah.
and remembers being told, just don't leave this house. And I teared up, because I'm like, it destroys children
It does.
when they don't have an outlet.
Yeah.
And when they are at very impressionable ages, and you say something like that to a child, all they do is internalize all of this trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And the house has so many secrets, and it can never be spoken of because of this statement. And Crystal said it earlier. They never received an explanation of, well, this right here got to stay in the house. But if something like this happened over here, you better tell everybody, tell somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we have adult men and women who are living on their own, paying their own bills, doing their own thing, living their own lives, who are still unhealed from what happened to them as children. And you know what they say? Well, I'm grown now. I may as well move on.
And that's when we encourage therapy. I mean, as we've gone down through the years, we've learned better. So now we have a responsibility to do better. Again, for lack of conversation or for sake of conversation, I'm going to say all those generations and years that we've said that, it was out of ignorance. And I honestly don't believe that all parents meant to put their children in a position where they would end up internalizing trauma. But I do believe that now that we are old enough, some of us are old enough to understand and know that we've endured some trauma, we need to go and get some therapy. We need to find somebody to talk it out with, some life coaches, talk it out with, deal with it, so that we don't continue to harbor that and carry it. Because some people have gone on.
I want to ask you something about that. You both are life coaches. Dr. Nancy, relationship expert. What do you say to the adult who shares this experience with you, but they don't want to get therapy because they are afraid? And what it can't be, I don't want to say that, because you can't be afraid that what you say to the therapist is going to get out, because there's a confidentiality agreement.
Correct. Right. Yes.
But what would you say to the person who is now an adult who still deals with the thoughts of the trauma that they experienced, but are unwilling to go to a therapist to talk it out?
Well, you got to go step by step with them. Your first thing to do is to validate what they're saying, because they never had that.
That's right.
I believe you. This wasn't your fault. You're going to validate them first. And therapy or conversation can be given without them thinking that they're sitting in a therapy office. You can have conversation.
Facts. I like that.
Let's deal with it. Now, while I'm not a licensed therapist, but I can talk to you. I can listen to you, because that's really what they're missing. Nobody listened to them. They felt unheard.
Yeah.
So you want to first validate and then be a lending ear. You want to be a listening ear to them. So, and then after that, they're probably going to feel more comfortable with talking to someone. Maybe it's someone that you refer. Maybe you have a therapist and you feel comfortable with them, and you say, okay, let me refer you here. If they're still not comfortable, maybe let's go out to lunch. Let's just talk. And it doesn't have to be directly to that point. You just want them to know that they're being heard. Whatever you want to talk about, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Yep. Let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. again, let's, again, get it out. You've got to talk about it. You've got to deal with it. It's got to be validated. I hear you. Now let's begin to now that it's out, now let's process it. And we've got to process it the right way so that you're able to move forward in your future. And again, get them to understand we can't go back and we can't change it.
Can't change it.
We know that it happened. We understand how it's making you feel or how it makes you feel. So now let's deal with it. Let's put some things in place so that you're able to deal with it and move forward from this.
And then let's talk about forgiveness, because you got to forgive that person. Then forgive yourself for holding on to it.
And there are steps even in the forgiveness. And it's not going to happen overnight.
It's not. It's a
so I don't want not a therapist, not a life coach, and not a person on here to think that is going to happen overnight, because it is not going to happen. And Tam, you are right. Sometimes people are unwilling to talk about it and or to forgive and or to deal with it. But what we've got to do is, again, get them to understand that they won't be able to move on healthy and have a fulfilled life if they don't deal with it. And that takes some time. I think I told you, Willie, and this is it's the same, but it's a little sad. It took Martise and I a year to deal with a couple to get them now to the point where they're willing to deal with some of the issues and talk about some of the issues that they were dealing with when we met them a year ago. And sometimes it takes that long. You've got to be willing. Well, we could have said we're not answering our phones or our text message or responding. You've got to be willing to sometimes take somebody by the hand and walk them through the process until they get their system.
Tam says sometimes we're not unwilling. We just don't want to seek therapy if our stuff seems trivial. And what I want to say to that is that to all of you that are watching or listening to the podcast on Spotify, if it's important to you,
that's right.
I don't care what the next person thinks about what happened, about your experience, because it may seem minute to me, but it may be a mountain to you.
That's right. That's right. And that's why validation is so important.
It's very, very, very important.
Yeah.
It is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Absolutely. It's a big deal. Because guess what? Everybody, we all have our own journeys. And we're all different places in maturity. Okay. And this ain't even about Christian or non-Christian. This has nothing to do with that. Right. I'm talking about your experience, what that experience was to you, what it did to you, what it meant to you. It is not trivial, especially if it keeps replaying in your mind. That's a mountain.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. And it is not something that you should hold on to. It is not something that you should continually internalize. This is something that you need to open your mouth and say something to somebody. If you don't want to go to a therapist, there is somebody that you trust that can hold your secrets, that will listen to you, that will validate you. You have got to get to a place of comfortability with somebody that you can say, hey, I need to share this experience with you. I need to share my trauma. I need to talk about what's going on. Say something.
And then we have to take the position when people come, we have to take the position of empowering them to take their power back. So often they won't talk about it, or they stop sharing, or they walk around feeling defeated because they've given over the power and they're not taking their power back. We've got to empower individuals to take their power back. Again,
and another way to do that is if you are a parent and this, whatever this is, happened to you, you have the power now to make sure that it doesn't happen to your child.
but you've got to empower yourself to know that you've got that
Right.
power.
You
That's
gotta
why
be
it's
in
important for even the
process for
parent.
yourself.
Yeah, the parent has to get the assistance. The parent has to acknowledge that it happens. Don't sweep it under the rug. If it's you've carried
Don't
it
sweep it under the rug.
enough. You know, Tam, I seen your post or your comment. I'm interested in how you dealt with what you said about your father. For instance,
She was abused, yes,
by my dad,
physically,
whom I love but not molested. So I'm interested in how you dealt with that and what type of assistance you've gotten and how are you today with it? Because again, she can't go back and erase it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now, how do we deal with it? You know that it happened. You've acknowledged that it happened. So now let's deal with it and move forward.
Because, like Charlotte said,
forgiveness taking place. Because,
it
like
can stress you completely.
Forgiveness has to take place. And yes, it can stress you out. It can cause you illness, not just stress.
Yeah,
blood pressure, strokes, right? Because you're carrying this around.
Yes.
And you don't even realize where it's coming from, but it's coming from that baggage.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Because people, and I'm a reader. I love to read articles in psychologytoday.com, health.com, men's health. I love reading those articles because I like to know, I'm not, I guess I'm a typical male. I don't particularly like to go to the doctor, but I'm interested in what happens in my body. And something that I've been reading and all these articles and doctors and stuff agree on, and we've got to understand this, mental trauma and stress can trigger certain hormones in your body that will cause physical sickness.
Yes.
If you don't deal with, just like we have to take care of our physical bodies, we have to take medicine and working out, whatever. We have to do the same for our mental health, because we got cancer and oh God, diabetes, whatever else. Some of us don't even, well, not us, the devil is a lie. Some people should not have some of these diseases based on their physicality. It's not what they did to affect their body. It's what's happening in their mind, in their brain, this trauma, this unforgiveness that hasn't taken place from the person or people who traumatized me. Now you're dealing with cancer because you didn't know how.
And I think that is huge. And so often I cringe. Charlotte, put your comment up, not your last one, but the one before that. That one. I cringe every time people say that they cannot forgive somebody, because number one, who do you think that you are not to forgive when Christ forgives us every day? But then number two, you are doing yourself a disservice, not forgiving, because you're carrying around the stress of the situation, making yourself sick. Now you've given the power over to that situation instead of taking your power and living the best life you possibly can. So again, for unforgiveness has so many ramifications. Is it hard? Yes. Does it happen overnight? No. But it's a choice that we get to make, and it affects us. It can affect us.
I want to share something. I want to share something. Something traumatic happened to me when I was 11, 12. And I carried it for so many years. One day I was coming from work when I worked downtown. And, I was on the bus. I didn't like the train because they smelled like pee. So I took the bus. And one of the stops the bus made, I saw the individual that had dealt that trauma to me. And I was sitting, the bus was stopped at a red light. and the individual was there, appeared to be homeless, could be wrong, and immediately my mind, I like turned into that 11-year-old again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be really, really transparent right here. I wanted to hate that individual so bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
And now please, y'all, if y'all know me, y'all know I'm not that deep over spiritual person. That ain't me. I don't do that. But I will be honest and say immediately, the Holy Spirit dealt with me because I stared out that window because I wanted them to see me. Never looked up, never saw me, never locked eyes. But immediately, Holy Spirit dealt with me and said, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And I stared out that window and I cried. I cried. But by the time I got home, I felt like, like, for lack of a better term, I felt lighter.
Yeah.
Because it was in that moment that they didn't hear me, but from my heart, I spoke, I forgive you for what you did to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such it was such a freeing experience for me. It was really, I'm sorry, y'all. It was a freeing feeling for me because for 20 plus years, I had carried that. And I get to thinking and stuff, man, like if that hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't be over here. Or all of that stuff. And it was, my point is, no matter how long you have been carrying the weight, I'm telling you, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible, especially if you have a relationship with God. It is so possible. It's doable to forgive the person or people or whatever that caused you your trauma. And on a bigger scale, for us Christian folk, I gotta say it. If you don't forgive them and you leave this earth, you won't go to heaven.
You will not.
No.
And I'm going to heaven in about 50 years. I'm going.
And even in that moment, you took your power back.
Yeah.
You took your power back. You didn't allow that situation, that person to keep you from your promise.
Yes, it is, Mama. It's all right now. I promise it is. I have forgiven and I moved on. And it was, Dr. Nancy said it, it was so hard to do. Because, and I hadn't really even thought about it. I hadn't thought about it, but when you physically see something or somebody that did it to you, like Kenya Moore, I felt like that little boy again. But Dr. Nancy, I took my power back.
You took your power back.
When I said, in my heart, I said, I forgive you for what you did to me.
That is so powerful. And that's what everybody's even saying right now, that even you sharing, that is powerful because you've let others know that it's able to be done. It can happen. Not only for you, but look what Tam says. She says she minored in psychology to get a better understanding of what happened. And she forgave and told him about himself before he got sick. that was life changing for her. Can you imagine
Yeah.
how even for her in that moment to be able to speak it out?
Uh-huh.
The person may not even acknowledge what they've done to you. They may not say, yeah, you're right,
Yeah,
I get it,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
But you've got to be able to take your power back and be able
I'm getting
to.
off of here because y'all made me cry. I ain't got
We
nothing else to say.
Nobody made you cry.
Get off of here. Hey,
Mhm.
hey, man,
Yep.
look, I don't mind. I don't
That's
mind.
right.
You helping somebody else.
Because I'm telling you that moment I became a new person,
Yes.
and I
Mhm.
know I did,
Yes.
and I have never. I'm 49 years old. I have never
Mhm.
publicly shared anything about that part of me, because of feelings of embarrassment and shame. And all. But you know what? I have nothing to be ashamed of.
That's right.
I
That's
have
right.
nothing to be embarrassed about.
That's right.
That's right.
You
And
didn't do it. Whatever it
exactly
was, you didn't
right.
do it. So you have nothing to be
So
ashamed about,
I am
nothing to be embarrassed
enjoying the
about.
freedom
That's right.
of forgiveness.
That's right.
It's a powerful, powerful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Um,
And I want to
so
say this too while you're talking, because I just really feel impressed to say this.
yes, please.
Again, although we are who we are and we can't change that. I'm talking me, Crystal, and Willie. I want you all to know whether you are saved or unsaved, forgiveness is still something that you too have a right to, that you too need to do, because yes, it can affect you. Now that
Yeah.
coupled, like owning what you've been through, being, validating that situation and forgiving are steps. Now, coupled with that, Christ, yes, he can help you make it through it all and make it that much easier for you to bear. But I
Yeah.
really want you to understand, whether you accept them today or not, whether you accept them tomorrow, I want you to walk away from this show being empowered to take your power back, because so many
And
people have been through trauma.
if you have not, if you're still watching this show and you have not shared this, you should. You really should. This was freeing. Um, Again, it was another level of freedom for me personally, because like I said, I have never spoken
Yeah.
of that, and like, wow, okay. So, I want you to share this if you haven't, because who knows who else needs to hear that. I think I'm going to even trim this broadcast, and I'm willing to share it.
And it's important, don't rush it, because even like Tab just said, it's not finished yet. It's important when we go through things that we go
Yeah.
back and we reach and pull somebody else up and let them know how we made it,
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
Again, and even like you said, you have nothing to be embarrassed about, nothing to be ashamed about. And now that you have your power back, and now that you're even able to voice it, guess what? There are so many other people out there who can use that and who need to hear that and know that they too can make it. They
yeah,
can forge through. That guess what? I may have carried this for a little while, and this may be exactly how I feel. He felt like I felt. Oh
Yeah.
right,
man,
yeah,
I want to
Yeah.
do that too. But this is how he was able to deal with it. And now look how empowered he is. He's
yeah,
able to share it.
yeah,
That's huge.
This is
yeah.
gonna be a stepping stone for somebody else who's in the same
Definitely.
scenario.
I
That
believe it.
person
I
who can't
believe
talk,
it. I believe it.
the person who
I
can't
believe
talk,
it.
and I don't want to go to therapy, they might
So
have
true.
just needed to hear that.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Hey,
So
Prophetess
true.
Sherry. Yes, it took me now 38 years to open my mouth and say, hey, something traumatic happened to me.
How long
And
did
I'm
it
on the
take you?
other
Say it
side.
again. How long?
38 years.
See?
And now you're on the other side. And now you're
Yeah.
speaking from a different place.
Yes, yes, yes. So I want each of you that are watching to know that an inward healing is available to you. And so many people have said it. We've said it.
Yes.
Both of my co-hosts have said it. I saw it in the comments. You can take your power back. You can. And when you choose to not forgive them, they still hold the power.
They still hold the power
over you.
Yep.
I think we may have said this last week or week before. You don't forgive. We said it last week. I think you don't forgive people for them.
No.
You do it for you.
And I think that that's what makes it so hard sometimes for so many people to forgive, is that we have the misconception that when we forgive, we're actually doing it for them.
Or you walking up to them, tapping them on the shoulder saying, you know what, I forgive you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like that.
It does not. It does not. You're freeing yourself. Yes, surely you're letting them off the hook, but you know, you're doing it for yourself so that you're not harboring anything, so that you're not walking around with any ill will, so that you're not making yourself sick. Yeah. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's really for you. It's for your bettering.
Yeah, for sure.
I just made that word up, but
bettering.
This was definitely wow, what a show. It was eye-opening and thought-provoking, as I said it would be earlier today when I communicated with you ladies. Wow. I want you all to be brave. If you have a story to share it. If you are strong enough or able and willing to share, please do. If you want to share it with us, with Dr. Nancy, Coach Crystal, and myself, you can email us at theselfcheckoutshow@gmail.com if you would like your story to be heard or read on this show. Even if you want it to be done anonymously, that can happen, because you never know who will be helped by your story. If you never share it, nobody can ever be helped by it. That's right. So by all means, email us at theselfcheckoutshow.com. We will get it and answer your emails. So we are, Tabby says she is
Googling bettering.
Googling bettering.
Bettering.
Okay? Wow.
In my dictionary, you won't find it. Yeah.
Well, guys, we got to get out of here. This has been one heck of a show. And you know what? Doggone it. Because of what the story that I shared tonight about my own self, I feel that is just cause to celebrate.
Absolutely.
Why are we doing it?
There's always a reason.
I'm ready.
There's always a reason.
Always a reason for a celebration. Yes.
Always,
and you too can celebrate. Once you've done your work,
celebrate.
Once you fixed your life, like Ayala said, you too celebrate.
Yes.
Celebrate. It took him 30, 40 years.
Yes.
If it takes you that long, celebrate.
Celebrate. Tabby, I guess we just gonna have to get it together, huh?
See, Tab said, "Where we going?" See what I'm saying? She ready for the celebration too.
Oh, we can just, we can just come to your house. All right, that's settled. We going to Tab's house. All right. Well, now we got that done. When I say I love my viewers, I love you guys. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. What goes on in this house sometimes should not stay in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But we'll be back next Monday night, 7:00. I want Dr. Crystal to give us the last words tonight.
You sending me back to school?
I said Dr. Crystal. Coach Crystal.
Dr. Crystal.
For sure, Tam. Yes, you are more than welcome. Coach Crystal, give us our last words for the show tonight, and after she's finished, we will see y'all back here next Monday night, 7:00 p.m. This is the Self-Checkout Show, where we take an honest look at what's in our hearts, minds, and spirits. Coach Crystal, go.
So I'm just going to say that it's always good to be brave and courageous and show your strength, but your strength lies in your vulnerability. So be
Mhm.
transparent and talk about it. Y'all have a good evening.